Welcome everybody to the Formula 4 Championship here at Red Bull Ring. This is round 2 at Broken Wing Racing League. We're looking at Ray Aguilar right now as he's about to go. He's out on his out lap as everyone else is. We got about less than 10 laps to go. This is going to be qualifying, about 15 minutes on the qualifying time charts. We'll actually pop up a little bit here and go up and look at Trey Mistack, who was leading the pack on his outlap. Let's take a look at that livery, see if it looks like a different livery I've ever seen. Sky Activate. I was going to say Ferrari for a second, but looks a little different. And car number 599. And we'll go on board with this driver as he's about to go through the final corners here at Red Bull Ring and push on his first pace lap. Let's see how well he does. Let's actually pop back here to the cockpit view. Looks like everything looks swimmingly on the old frame rate there. Apologies for the VIR session. It's just something about those trees that really just messes up everything and anything and everything. It's definitely its own little thing, but it looks like the bugs have been worked out. Quality of the stream looks good. I am concerned about that the upper header there. It doesn't look like it's totally accurate. As Trey Misak is about to go into Sector 2. Don't know what his time looks like. I wish that little dash would show us. But no driver has set a time, and the driver that set the fastest time was Joshua Abbott Salazar in practice, and he set a 131.092. It's possible he did that without incident and without an off track. In practice, off tracks do not count towards your actual best lap, so there is a possibility that you cut a chicane or you cut a corner and time was lost or time was gained, but you didn't have to give it back because practice is practice. But in quality, we'll know. So let's see as Trey goes across the line in just a second here. We'll just pushing through. Trey crosses the line with a 131.6, and just behind him, Joshua Salazar Abbott Salazar crosses the line, and it does not show his time just yet. Looks like he didn't set a time. Ray Aguilar crosses the line, does not set a time. Jeff Koffold crosses the line, does not set a time. That's an odd. Patrick Schofield here, also another driver that was on his outlap, does not set a time. All right, we're going to be looking at some differences here. Colin Luckhurst crosses the line, did not set a time, and he's on his second lap. So a lot of people seem to be, not doing so well on that for that outlap that they had, or that push lap that they had. We have Andrew Pickrell, who's sitting P1 provisionally. He has a 131.346. Tyler Tiers right behind him with a 131.420. David Gauntlet with a 131.498. And then Trey Mistack in P4, first driver that we saw cross the line, with Craig Carroll in P5 with a 132.6. Nicholas Matcham with a 134.6 in P6. No other driver has set a time. Tyler Kearns has crossed the line with a 144, but it was an invalid lap, apparently. Or that could have been his out lap. We will take a look here as we have Austin McGill in that Haas livery. Interesting choice. Let's see. He's about to cross the line. See if this doesn't actually help the driver here. And Austin McGill crosses the line in P8 with a 132.2. And there is a car off track. Colin Luckhurst finally crossed the line with a 132.1. Puts him in P7. Patrick Schofield in P6 with a 131.8. Ray Aguilar with a P5 spot for him with a 131.5. David Gauntlet moves down to P4. Trey Mistak stays in P2 with a last time similar as the first one. Hasn't actually improved upon his time. I'm going to pop on board with the driver just ahead here. As we have a couple. Actually, we're going to stay on board with Ray Aguilar as we know he's quick. We know he's fast. He's been P1 before. He's won a championship or 2 or 3, maybe even 4. Not sure exactly how long he's been in the league, but he is a fast driver in the Formula 4 car. More drivers across the line as we have Tyler Currents in P10 with a 132.8, Steve McAllister with a 132.9, Eric Yarope with a 132.9, separated by thousandths of a second. That's pretty impressive. Then Colton Piazza in P13 with a 132.9. Cody Wasson with 134.3. And Nicholas Matcham with a 134.6. Andrew Pickerel crosses the line. Does not improve upon his last time. Ray Aguilar crosses the line. Was P5. Stays P5. He just crossed the line with a 131.588. And we're going to bump on board here with one of the other drivers here, Trey Mistak, who is definitely fighting for that P1 spot. He's P2 right now at the moment, and he's got about 1 full tenth to go to beat out Andrew Pickerel for that top spot. More drivers cross the line. Timothy Bray with a P9 spot with a 132 even. Austin McGill goes faster with a P6 spot. Jeff Kaufhold with a P7 spot at 131.7. Looks like a lot of drivers are going to be needing to hit that 131 criteria. Preferably in the, 131.4s is where you want to be if you want to get in that top 10. But anything actually in the 131s is going to get you in a top 10 spot. As Timothy Bray is P10 with a 132. As it stands, we don't have any other drivers that are going faster at the moment. Zachary Hinterhoff with a 135.9. And 2 drivers that have opted to not go out for a qualifying session. And that is Trey Mistak across the line with a P1, 131.257. Trey Mistak leading the pack now. Provisional pole for Trey Mistak. He's got a little bit more time left. How much time do we got? We got about another, 7 minutes to go. And he has spun that run. But it's going to be up to maybe Joshua Abbott Salazar, who did go fastest with a 131 even. He has it in pace. He was there in practice. He put that car on P1 spot in the practice. Is it possible he can, find that spot again, find that momentum? And he gets good entry onto that corner. Let's see if he can't line it up for a good exit here. Push down that start straight finish. Go across the line. He is sitting in P19 right now with not anything on the board. And he goes across the line with a P12 finish. And that's a 132.1 for Josh Rabbit Salazar. Tyler Tier still sitting in P3. Not able to improve upon his time. Craig Carroll only dropped down a couple positions from P5. He's sitting P7 with a 131.7. And then we have Colton Piazza out on a outlap here. We'll take this to another driver that we're looking to see improve upon his time. Timothy Bray. He's a fast boy. He was close to winning the Formula 4 championship last season. He was provisional pole on the last race. P1. He just... Whoa. I hate to see it, folks. Take a look at Trey Mistak out here, who just went P2 with a 130 1.257. Tyler Tier. No, that was actually. Trey Mistak was provisional pole. Tyler Tier uh, took the top spot with a 130.916. What an interesting result. Let me just pull that up for everybody on screen here. Tyler Tier sitting at a 130.9, Trey Mistak P2, and Andrew Pickrell P3. Separated very small by only a couple hundredths there. Some of these drivers. Austin McGill P4, the 131.4. David Gauntlet just behind him, and Ray Aguilar just behind him. No one else in the top split here that I'm seeing right now has actually shaked up the lineup. Looks like Trey missed that across the line there with no improvement on that time that it shows. He must have had an off track there. I'll go out here and focus on the leaders here. And no improvement upon the times for Tyler Tier, Trey Mistak, and Andrew Pickrell just yet. Austin McGill still out there. He's seven laps on those tires. So that's maybe he's gonna be able to squeeze something out with that low fuel. Tyler Tier's coming out of the pit lane. David Gauntlet has opted to stay in the pits. He has done a 131.4. Craig Carroll is in the pit lane, as well as Patrick Schofield, Colin Luckhurst, Tyler Currens, and Nicholas Matcham. We have a couple drivers that are going back out on an outlap, hoping to get a little bit more out of the car before this ends here. We got about 3 minutes left to go on qualifying. That's a couple more laps to push. Eric Yarup, who's sitting in P17. Let's see what he's can do. And unfortunately, he is spun at turn 1, and not much he can do after that one. Back on board with Josh Rabbit. Salazar, who definitely can make something happen. He is P9, but he could be sitting P2, P1, P3, who knows. He has the pace, folks. We just need to see him just nail it down on one lap. Is this his lap to do it? We'll see. It doesn't look like he's got anybody ahead of him and nobody behind him to really mess with his times. You can take a look on the right-hand side of that is a relative board for the drivers ahead of him. That's a 6.2 second gap to Colton Piazza and a 25 second gap to Timothy Bray behind him. So clear skies, clear sunny skies, clear air. No issues there. He's just got to line it up. Hits that apex pretty well, as well as jumping into this one. Kind of like a nice groove. And while that sun is a little blinding, I'd be more worried about this dust and debris on the old helmet, as he just clears it. He must be listening to me, because that was a little much. As he crosses the line, did he improve upon P9? Unfortunately not. He did a 132.0. Maybe he'll try to go for this one. He was faster with a 131.7. And with just 1 minute left to go, we're going to be taking a look at some of these drivers that might be able to pull something together. And not them, that's for sure. Jeff, who's sitting P7. Trey Mistak back out. I'm trying to improve upon his time. It looks like he's already on a hot lap here. Let's take a look and see if he can improve upon it on this last couple of corners. Down the start straight finish he goes. Is it enough to make a P1 start for him as he crosses the line? Not a last lap made for there. Let's take a look there and see. He did a 131 point. Oh, that was practice. Did not set anything up, and he is out. And Timothy Bray was one of the few people I had left on the screen here that is out there, was qualifying, is coming to an end. He's one of those drivers that I think might be able to put himself back up in the top 10. He is fast. He does have the racecraft to get there. It's just all about setting it up. Whether or not it's going to happen this lap, he already put in a good spot. Starting P13 isn't bad. Might be able to avoid some of the carnage that happens at the start on that opening laps, but you're definitely going to be in the middle there, kind of bunched up from some of the drivers that are going to be trying to make those places up as well. But I think P13 is not bad. It depends on whether or not he's going to be on the inside or the outside going into turn one. Definitely going to see some scariness as he opts for the side there and does not improve upon his time. Tyler Tier, already P1, just taking out this car for a Sunday stroll. Really just basking in that P1 energy there as he still is out there. And I believe no other driver is really out there on track. We have Jeff Koffhold in P7, who I think is actually out there just behind him. And I guess we're going to see whether or not he tries to improve upon his time that he's already, P1. Jeff would have to pull out an amazing last lap here to outbeat a 130.9 by Tyler Tier. Jeff has a 131.6. He's sitting P7 at the moment, and there goes Tyler Tier into the pit lane. And Jeff is across the line. And he goes P6 over David Gauntlet. One last little strut across the line. So, great finish to qualifying. Taking a look again, Tyler Tier P1, Trey Mistack P2, Andrew Pickle P3, Austin McGill P4, Ray Aguilar P5, Jeff Koffhold in P6. Right across the line at the last second, he goes P6. That's a great finish for him. David Gauntlet in P7, Craig Carroll in 8, Joshua Abbott Salazar in P9, Cody Wasserman 10, Patrick Schofield in 11, Colin Luckhurst in 12, Timothy Bray in 13, Colton Piazza in 14, Steve McAllister in 15, Tyler Currents in 16, Eric Yarope in 17, Nicholas Matcham in 18, and Zachary Hinterhoff in 19, Addison Hoagie in 21, and Levi De Keyrol in 21. That's the start, folks. We're about to get underway, and this is going to be a standing start. And we'll start from the chopper. Or maybe we go with a far chase here. What's next? Yeah, I kind of like this. We'll start from the far chase. Get a good feel of what's going to happen for these first couple of drivers coming out of this standing start. I feel like the drivers on the inside, given a good jump, we could see Trey Mistack try to take that right off the starting line going into the first corner. He's got the room. If he stays on that inside corner, they go too wide, comes in again, and is able to make that move stick. Then going into turn 3, he's definitely going to be able to push ahead. Not much he can do. It's a lot of rights after turn 1. As we jump down the lineup here, let's take a look and see if there's anything interesting on some of these liveries here. Got one of the Star Wars drivers here with us. Raced against them in the season prior to this. Oh, and there we go. And it looks like one of those drivers got eaten up there, and that's David Gauntlet. And down into the first corner they go. Oh, that is almost 3 wide. They put it back to 2 wide. And so far clean as... We're about to jump on and see how these drivers go here. That's Ray Aguilar in Austin McGill. As Ray Aguilar takes the outside, and Austin McGill slots in for P3. That's a great move for him. Pulling back here, folks. We got Patrick Schofield here. Just pulling ahead of Joshua Abbott Salazar. And just a nice train from P1 all the way down to P10. And then they're going too wide behind here, folks. That is Timothy Bray on the outside of Joshua Abbott-Salazar. And I think he's going to try to go for the overtake. Going to this next corner, he's already ahead. Brakes perfectly. Stays ahead. Keeps it moving. And there's a move for Timothy Bray into P11, I believe. Or P12, if I'm not mistaken. Dropping down the lineup here. Let's take a look, see some of these drivers. Looks like everybody has been clean so far. From what I can tell, it looks like everybody's doing pretty well. And then back on board. Take a look at right up ahead. And still clean. And some were going to say there's going to be carnage going into this race. And it looks like Colton Piazza is just gone ahead of Patrick Schofield. As we have another driver, Eric Yarup, also making the move for it. And Patrick's going extra slow as that is another driver. Nicholas Matcham, Steve McAllister. Oh, and we have a little bunch up there in the drivers from P11, 13, 14. I can't even tell. But Patrick drops from P9 down to P15, I believe. Unfortunate move for him. Oh, and that is a bunch of drivers shaken up right there. And they are off track. And that is unfortunate. That is Trey Mistack. Oh, no. Let's take a look at what happened, folks. Just a little brief one here. Doesn't look too good. And we have Austin McGill. We have two... Oh, almost slotted. He loses control and collects Ray Aguilar. Yikes. And taps Trey Mistack went with that one. That is unfortunate. That is truly unfortunate. You hate to see it. Trey Mistack was leading the pack. He overtook Tyler Tier, and now he's dropped down into the back. We have Colin Luckhurst in P14. Possibly, yes, definitely P14 from the looks of it. He's got David Gauntlet on the outside, going too wide through turn one. He overtakes him perfectly. David Gauntlet's about to lose some speed here as Eric Yarup goes through. That is another move for him. And David Gauntlet feeling he was P9. We just had a driver that was P9, also getting overtaken by a lot of the cars on track right now as Patrick Schofield goes through. And then who is that there? Is that Nicholas Matcham? Yes, it is. Nicholas Matcham in the Frosted Flakes also goes through. We have some drivers up ahead here. And this is Cody Wassam fighting off Joshua Abbott-Salazar. And to the looks of it, Craig Carroll is sitting in P4. And Tyler Tier. Who... That's Tyler Tier. Oh, okay. Both have purple livery, so I guess they're part of the same team. Tyler Tier was sitting P1, but now he's dropped to P6. Unfortunate move. Must have cost him something, some type of incident, but Cody Wasp and Craig Carroll go through. They're now sitting P4 and P5. Actually, P3 and P4. I mistook that. Hasn't been an update yet, but we're going to see Andrew Pickrell goes across the line. He is now P1 with Jeff Kaufhold in P2, Craig Carroll in P3, and Cody Wassam in P4. Quite the shakeup at the start here. And Tyler Tier's not gaining on Cody Wassam just yet. He's also got a driver behind him of Timothy Bray, who's made a lot of places up, starting P13. Timothy Bray is already down to P6 from the looks of it. And then there's Colt Piazza right behind him. And we're going to go on board with Jeff. See if he can't line up a move here on Andrew Pickrell, as we have a couple drivers that are lapped just ahead, but a full sector ahead of them. So nothing in the works just yet for lap traffic. As he's only 3/10 away, and it looks like Andrew Pickrell might have gotten an off-track one. Full, all tires off track there and onto that curbing. See what Jeff can do. Who's got the pace? Where are they at here? Jeff did a 132.2 last lap. Andrew Pickrell did a 132.2 last lap. Looks like Andrew Pickrell just went through with a 131.9. Jeff did a 132.1. So a little bit of a gap is going to be start to form as the driver in P1 definitely has a little bit more pace. Even if it's 3/10, that 3/10 is going to build up. And that's going to be enough for him to kind of shake away from his competition as we are pulling back here. We got Cody Wassam in P4 with Tyler Tier now closer than ever and about 3/10 off. But not a move just yet. And then pulling back to the pack, we have Colton Piazza. He's got about a 1 second gap behind him. And look at this. Colin Luckhurst really getting close to Joshua Abbott Salazar. The driver I thought was way ahead going through, but that was his teammate Tyler Tier. And Colton Piazza, and that's Colin Luckhurst right behind him. Really getting close to that back end there. It's a little too close for comfort, some might say. But he backs off. And it looks like Joshua just has a better exit there. Nothing ahead of him just yet. And then Colin right behind him has Eric Yarup, who's also made a lot of positions at the start of this race. Really making some good moves. Oh, as I say that, he goes a little wide, and those two dance. That's Ray Aguilar and Eric Yarup, and Eric Yarup has to concede that spot to Ray Aguilar, who was collected in that incident off the second lap there, folks. It's really unfortunate for him. And that is Patrick Schofield behind. And then we got a Levi DeKirel. Trey Mistack was leading this race. He's now in P14. Cody Wassam also dropped down from P15 to P15, so he must have had an incident as well. It's unfortunate. And then, yeah, just down the lineup we go. There's some drivers that are just pretty evenly spaced. Patrick Schofield now pushing with David Gauntlet here. So we'll take a look on board. Goes down the inside line. They go too wide there. And just goes through David Gauntlet in the car number 2. Passes Eric Yarup. And now Eric Yarup's about to be eaten up by Schofield. Patrick Schofield on the outside. He goes. And look at that. Eric Yarup is setting that car right in the inside as he continues to push and defend. And there is another driver of Levi DeKirel going side by side with Patrick Schofield. Is he going to concede this next spot going into this right-hander? No, he doesn't. They are now side by side. And there goes Levi DeKirel against Patrick Schofield, who just got really eaten up by that driver. And, you know, he was trying to make a move himself, and sometimes that is just what happens. And we're going to take a look on board with Trey Mistack. Whoa! As Eric Yarup has just spun it a little bit. And who was that? Colin Luckhurst as well. It's anybody's game when stuff like that happens, folks. A lot of positions can be made up that quickly. And there goes Levi, extremely defensive on the inside. But Trey Mistack doesn't need to care about that as he has overtaken him on the racing line. And he is now just continuing to push. He's got this driver on the inside of him again. Even if it's a nose, you still got to worry about that. And that's the driver from Team Upstate. He's broke a little bit later. Trey does. And he actually gets the perfect racing line for that inside line on the... That was quite a wonderful move there. As Trey is just making his way through the pack here. And then going to set himself up for Patrick Schofield next. As he goes a little wide, that's going to give him a little bit more room to push. And we could be seeing this kind of shake down right into the final couple corners. I think turn 1 right here. You can already see a difference in how they're taking these lines. Trey's a little bit more tight, but not close enough. 2/10 in the toe. It looks like this is going to be a move that goes down into in the end of sector 1, possibly turn 3, and Patrick goes a little wide, but it's not enough. Actually, he loses a little bit of time there, Trey does, on that, so it's unfortunate. We're going to push ahead here. So we have Ray Aguilar still battling Colton Piazza. Nothing yet has happened, and we'll take a look at that in just a few. We have Timothy Bray here in P4, Tyler Tier in P3. Not much is shaking up with these drivers. It looks like they're about to shake up, though, as we have Timothy Bray side by side. Let's try to get a better angle here. Going into it. Looks like Tyler Tier sticks the defense on the inside. And Timothy Bray stays on that outside. Is he going to be able to make a move here? He's got a good clean exit. And is he gone through? It's still undetermined. And there it is. Tyler Tier overtaken for P3 by Timothy Bray. What a move that Timothy just set up there. Really made it look easy, and it wasn't. But there he goes. Tyler Tier down from P1 to P4. It's unfortunate because you know it wasn't his fault. He was collected in an incident. But not so much that he wasn't able to stay in that top 5, unlike some other drivers that were in the top 5, dropped significantly due to sand. Some might say they, yeah, nothing, got nothing on that one. But here we go. Joshua Abbott Salazar, P7, making the move on Colton Piazza down the inside line. They're both neck and neck, side by side, but Colton is a little off. Is that enough? And it looks like we got Ray Aguilar going what looks to, or is that a little bit slower, but it might just be a trick on the eye there. But still side by side, and it looks like Joshua has it down the inside again. Colton goes a little bit wider than you'd like to take that, but it was actually enough to carry the speed in which to continue going. And he does not make that move happen. And that's unfortunate. And taking a look at some of these like gaps overall here. Oh, as we have Nicholas Matcham and Craig Carroll battling for P14. It looks like Nicholas Matcham went off a little bit. And there goes Craig Carroll through against the Frosted Flakes livery. And then, let's see, we got Zachary Hinterhoff in P17, and Cody Wassam out on an outlap. So he must have went into the pits for some damage. He's sitting P17. Tyler Currents is P18, and got Steve McAllister in P19. And back on board with our leading pack. These drivers have not moved an inch since the last time we've looked at them. Separated by only 3/10 each. Andrew Pickrell is leading this this little pack from P1 to P4. Not a lot of mistakes are happening here. And it just looks like we're just seeing some good pace out of these drivers. Andrew Pickrell with a 131.7 on his last lap. Jeff Kaufhold in P2 with a 131.8, just a 1/10 off of 1/10 off of him. Timothy Bray with a 131.3, actually 4/10 faster than P1 right now on that last lap. And Tyler Tier with a 131.3, also faster than P1 and P2. So it looks like these two drivers in P1 and 2 are just kind of holding on to a good defense. It looks like maybe there's a buffer from Jeff having to go a little defensive. Oh, but he just lets them both by, folks. That is a interesting tactic. Maybe he thinks I can't pass Andrew just yet, but I know maybe these guys can. Let's see if something happens out of that. These drivers cross the line again, and Andrew Pickrell did a 131.7. Timothy Bray and Tyler Tier did a 131.7 and a 131.6. So while they were faster on the lap before, they weren't faster this time around. They're just about even. And so it may take a couple more laps before we see something shake up with these drivers. Possibly even go to an undercut, overcut scenario with some of these drivers. Do you want to be stuck in a train next to a couple of drivers in the next few laps here? We got 26 laps total. Or would you like to just go into the pit lane, come out, you know you're going to have a little bit of more free air. Definitely not going to be a lot of battling happen once you pull back out onto the track. You might get into one of those gaps where there's not a whole lot of funny business happening, because there's not a whole lot of trains occurring right now. As we drop back this pack, we got Ray Aguilar in P5, came back from the teens there, and he is definitely showing that he wants that P1. He's pushing for it, and he's not far behind them. Ray, as his last lap, as he's about to cross the line, we'll take a look and see what he's doing in comparison to some of these drivers as he crosses the line. Oh, he had an invalid lap, but, you know, we can still take a look. Actually, we can't. Still invalid. And Joshua Abbott Salazar still in P7 with Colton Piazza right behind him in P8. Actually, they just changed positions there, so it looks like Joshua was able to finally make that move happen. Dropping back to the lineup here, we got Trey Mistack making his way through the pack as well. He's overtaken David Gauntlet at some point, and who's just sitting behind in P9. And what I mean to say is, like, one of these drivers in P4, if they pit right now, they would come out just ahead of some of these drivers. Roughly. Actually, just behind these drivers, which actually wouldn't be that bad, because from David Gauntlet, you have Levi DeKiro and 5-second gap behind, and then Patrick Schofield with a 5-second gap to him, with a 6-second gap to David Gauntlet. So you have these two drivers that are kind of close together, but realistically, you're going to slot between these packs, these little gaps that form, and you could get yourself into a nice little move where now you're going to just be pushing against drivers that are now going to be sitting there defending, attacking. It's not it's a strategy worth mentioning there. Oh, as we have a driver going in, that is Patrick Schofield, and let's just see what actually happens here from a driver that's making that move. He's going for an undercut. He was sitting battling other drivers. Now he won't have to. He was P12 across the line. He's going to drop back, but one thing we can see for certain is Craig Carroll's going to go through, and then Nicholas Matcham in P15 is also going to go through. So from P12, we have P14 and P15 crossing the line. That's going to drop him back to P16, P15 himself. And let's see, he's still sitting in the pit lane. And then there goes Cody Wassam crossing the line. He was P16. Patrick Schofield's that one. Is he actually? He is still in the pit lane. This is not a simple stop for the driver. This is usually you get some gas and you get going. But there he seems to be going. And that is not good news for him. Not good news at all. And we have Timothy Bray out in P1 and Tyler Tiers P2. Yikes. So the thing that happened did happen. They had the pace. That's why Jeff pulled away on this start-straight finish. Andrew Pickrell was definitely trying to keep them behind, but it looks like he wasn't able to do that. But look at him now. He's attacking. Tyler Tier. He's going to stay on that outside. Tyler Tier's going to have to stay on the defensive inside line. It's a compromise line going to this next corner. But is it enough? We'll take a look at Tyler Tier on board. He stays down the inside line. Is it going to be enough? And it looks to be. He's got his nose ahead. It's definitely half a car length. But he's going to have to follow it into this next line. Just staying constantly defensive. It looks like Pickerel is just sitting there putting the pressure down on him, which actually gives Timothy Bray the confidence to push away right now. As you can see, he's already a second away. Andrew Pickerel slots back in. And now it just looks like they're about to just try to, I don't know. It looks like he's pulling slightly away. That's 3/10 right now. It was closer to 2/10, but last couple corners really decided the factor on whether or not there's room to push. Honestly, this might be the moment you go for the undercut and just go right into the pit lane. You've already battled these guys long enough. Maybe try to make some headway that way. You know that Tyler Tier's going to jump onto the back of Timothy Bray once more, as well as Andrew Pickerel is looking to get closer to Tyler Tier. And Jeff Kaufhold in P4 just behind. Only 6/10 off, which isn't that bad. And Ray Aguilar, who's also just put in a 1:31.4, faster than anyone else on track right now. It looks like he's going to definitely cut that 2.2 second gap even further, as we have nothing but great driving from the top 5 right now. And, you know, as we're going to pull away from them for just a second, it looks like they've already kind of solved the shakeups there. And Joshua Abbott Salazar in P6 over Trey, and somebody else was off track in the top 10 because they made a free position as Trey Mistak is now P7. And looks like David Gauntlet, who was P8, is down several positions. And that goes Timothy Levi DeKiro in P8 with Colin Luckhurst in P9. And then Eric Yarup in P10. David Gauntlet in P11 from P8. Greg Carroll in P13. And Nicholas Matcham in 14. Cody Wasserman is in P15. All the way down there. And look at that. That's Colton Piazza out on outlap. He was P9. And this is where that shakeup occurred. Wasn't even an incident, but he went into the pit lane to serve his mandatory pit stop and get some fuel for the end of this race. And that is Tyler Currents just behind him in P16. And Steve McAllister in P18. And then back down, we have Timothy Bray and Tyler Tier, now 2/10 off of each other. That attack is real. And a couple more drivers are going out into the pit lane. We have Timothy Bray. We have P1 through P4 not have served their pit stop just yet. Jeff Kaufhold did. He was P4. Ray Aguilar at the back of that P4 is not served his pit stop just yet. That's 16 lap old tires. As we have Trey Mistak in P6 also not served his pit stop just yet. From P8 to P10 also not serving their pit stops just yet. So we're going to see a little bit more of the shakeup occur, as we have two drivers that have been out for a while. Actually, 3 drivers have been out for a while. We have Cody Wassam, Steve McAllister, and Craig Carroll, all on, you know, some old lap hards, but nothing under 10. So it looks like they went in early on that pit stop and already took it. As we have Timothy Bray crossing the line, Tyler Tier still behind him, and Andrew Pickerel just behind him for P3. And it looks like Ray Aguilar just there in the distance. He is about 3 seconds off of Andrew Pickerel. He was 2.2 seconds off of P4 or P4. Now that he is P4, whoa! And looks like they get awfully close. And that 3-second gap is just going down, and we're going to see a battle for the finish out of these top 4. Looming in the background is Ray Aguilar, one of the fastest drivers on the track, on the circuit right now. Gone faster, just with a 1:31.2. Our fastest driver on track. Whoa! There goes Timothy Bray wide on that exit, but nobody is able to make up anything off of that move there. Tyler Tier with a 1:31.024. The fastest best lap on track, but at the moment we have a driver that is pacing faster than everyone else on track, and that is Ray Aguilar. Out of the top three right here, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We have Ray Aguilar still making up that room. There goes Tyler Tier. He's gone in the pit lane. Andrew Pickrell has opted to stay out, as well as Ray Aguilar. Now, that would be the interesting shakeup. Where's Tyler Tier going to settle in this? He was P2. He's going to stop in just a second. Splash for some fuel and jump right back out there. That's the pit stop we want to see out of a driver. Going ahead of him right now is Trey Mistak for P5 down to P4. But then there goes Tyler Tier. He's going to drop down, but not by much. We see Trey Mistak is on 18 old hard tires, and so he's actually going to have to go back into the pit lane. So Tyler Tier misses nothing from that driver overtaking him. Just behind him is Zachary Hinterhoff, driver he doesn't have to worry about because that's lap traffic right now. Going out there on board is Trey Mistak. He's definitely going to have to go in very shortly, as well as Ray Aguilar. It's really going to come down to who's going to be faster right now. Is it going to be Timothy Bray trying to extend his lead as he goes into the pit lane and has to jump out ahead of Tyler Tier? Same with Andrew Pickrell. They were just separated by a few tenths. Is his pit stop going to be a little bit faster? That's what it's really coming down to, folks, right now. From the top four, as Andrew Pickrell goes out, and he goes into the pit lane, and there goes Ray Aguilar. Now, Andrew Pickrell doesn't have to worry about this one just yet, as... Oh, that's Tyler Currents. As Ray Aguilar, as he's gone through, now he's sitting P2, he still has to go into the pit lane. And there's Andrew Pickrell. Now, the real question is, where is Tyler Tier? Tyler Tier going across the line, and we see Andrew Pickrell just ahead. How is that going to shape up? Oh, and it is tight, folks. They are neck and neck, but it's difficult to say, but no, he just starts up behind him, and he was unable to make a move off of that overcut. He's separated by 0.3, just like at the start of this happening. When Tyler Tier went in, Andrew Pickrell needed to get himself a couple of tenths up on his time, but it looked like Tyler Tier was able to do a good outlap and recover that time back, and nothing has changed for these two drivers. But what's really going to be interesting here, and there we have it, folks. There goes Timothy Bray into the pit lane. We're going to jump on board. There goes Ray Aguilar into the pit lane. Is he going to be able to hold his spot? He's only a couple of seconds behind Timothy Bray. So that's actually Ray Aguilar now just extended himself on that overcut and allow himself to be right next to the P1 contender going into this battle towards the end of the race. I don't know. We see two drivers crossing the line right now, though, and that is Tyler Tier and Andrew Pickrell. And we're going to hold suspense here, folks, as we're going to jump on board and see where they actually find out. We don't see them exiting the pit lane. There's Timothy Bray exiting the pit lane. And is he going to go ahead of Tyler Tier? It's anybody's game. Ray Aguilar is separated by half a second behind Andrew Pickrell, so he gains 2 full seconds, almost 3 seconds off of Andrew Pickrell and these other drivers. Tyler Tier goes through. Timothy Bray on cold tires right now. He's going to just have to let that slide. Tyler Tier goes through. P1 again. The provisional pole sitter now back to P1 with Trey Mistak kind of back there in P5. Ray Aguilar from P2 down to P4. But an ultimate result for the driver, as he is sitting right there on board with Ray Aguilar, who's on an outlap, who's got to take these tires a little bit more cautiously than the other drivers ahead of him. But he's made up all that room. So now we got about 6 laps to go, and Ray Aguilar, from a spin caused by another driver, is now back out there, and it looks like he just has to make up some time look for mistakes. I don't think these drivers are going to make that many mistakes, considering they're all in the top 5. But if he can't do that, then he's just going to have to beat them on pace, find a good spot to slot in on one of those corners. And it looks like he didn't even take that too wide as some of the other drivers did, as Timothy Bray and Andrew Pickrell did. He's just keeping it tight. And it looks like that was a great exit, as well as an exit for Andrew Pickrell, now having to battle Timothy Bray. Timothy Bray on the inside line. And now they're not going to take this 3 wide. There's no way they're taking this 3 wide. Oh my gosh, folks. And there goes Timothy Bray. He exits out of it completely. He gets overtaken by Andrew Pickrell, though. Ray Aguilar takes both of them through that corner, and that's all it took. And there goes Ray Aguilar into P2 from P4. What a move from Ray Aguilar. And Andrew Pickrell now sitting in the sandwich. What is he going to be able to accomplish here? As we jump on board, Tyler Tier has extended his lead by 1.3 seconds. Not having to worry about that at all. And actually, he's going even further ahead. He's now 1.5 seconds. And Timothy Bray back down into P4. Is he going to try to make a move on Andrew Pickrell again? We know he has it in him. And just curious to see as we have Jeff Kaufhold in P5. And Trey Mistack in P6. So Trey Mistack, who went for the overextending overcut to stay out as long as Ray Aguilar did. And it worked towards his benefit. I mean, he did come back from a lot of positions lost to a lot of positions gained. He's now sitting P6. And Jeff Kaufhold, who hasn't really done anything wrong, he's just been keeping good pace. And he was in the, right there in P4, but he's slotted back about 7.5 seconds back and could be a spin or anything that gives you that much of a gap. I doubt that it was on pace alone that he's that far back. And, getting a P5 finish is going to be a very good result for that driver. And crossing the line, let's take a look at some of these, taking a look at some of what's happening here as we take a look on board with Tyler Tier, who did a 131.1, and Ray Aguilar did a 130.9. Now holds the fastest lap on track. Tyler Tier previously earned that fastest lap on track. And like I was saying earlier, Ray Aguilar is now not only the fastest driver on track, but now has the fastest lap on track. And he's definitely going to be itching to get ahead and get that P1 finish. It looks like he's only separated by Tyler Tier by 1.3 seconds. And not an awful spot to be in with only 3 laps to go. And nothing yet from these two drivers. But they're separated by just a few tenths. And it looks like Timothy Bray is just trying to keep pace and match Andrew Pickrell through some of these corners. Not have to worry about anything else. And then on board is about 2 tenths separation here. And that's what 2 tenths really looks like, car lengths. Andrew Pickrell is really getting close to Ray Aguilar. And another move might happen here. Just on the exit, what is possible? Andrew Pickrell going for the inside, being defensive here as you should be. Looks like Timothy Bray was close enough to make it something happen, but is it enough? It looks like Andrew Pickrell stays on the inside line, keeps his braking enough to stay just half a car lengths ahead. And into this next corner, this battle goes. Timothy Bray down on the outside line. Who's going to break later? And there goes Andrew Pickrell staying pretty tight. Goes ahead, keeps it ahead. And he's going to have to be a little bit more defensive going through the next couple laps, as that's going to happen again. We know Timothy Bray is going to try to make a move like that once more. And while that's happening, even though Ray Aguilar doesn't feel the sweat of that, he's also not getting any closer, as Tyler Tier has a 1.8 second gap now from Ray Aguilar. And that's why we're sitting on board with Ray Aguilar. Is the battle right behind is really what it's all about. And Andrew Pickrell goes wide through that corner. But Timothy Bray doesn't capitalize. There's not much you can do going through another fast right-hander. More or less just try to stay on the back end of that driver. But it doesn't look like he's that much closer this go-around. But is that a good enough exit there? He's really getting close to that back end. Let's go on board here. And they are about neck and neck. And it looks like Timothy Bray is about to get a full car lengths ahead. On the outside, though, is Andrew Pickrell going to have a better exit? No, he doesn't. And that goes Timothy Bray just ahead of Andrew Pickrell on one of the last laps. And you hope to see him try to make a move back on car number 39. And while they're battling, it doesn't look like it's too contentious. They're about separated by 2/10. It looks like Ray Aguilar might just be slotted in for P2 and keep P2. And it's good enough as finishes you could hope for, especially when you got turned around on lap 2. Having to really battle through the pack and make something happen. All right, and there's the white flag, folks. We are at the end of this race. 1 lap to go. Is Andrew Pickrell going to do anything to take back P3 from Timothy Bray? Started P13. An impressive finish by both of the drivers here. And Tyler Tier just ahead by a good margin. It doesn't look like he's going to have to compromise his battle at all. Although there is a driver just ahead of him, car number 40, of Tyler Currents. You hope that isn't going to play into anything at the last lap in Sector 2, Sector 3. I mean, that would be a travesty. And he is decent enough ahead. Like, that's 1.8 seconds, and I think he can hold it for another half lap. I don't believe he's going to try to move out of the way on that one, as these drivers are all going here. And separated by just enough space. I don't foresee anything happening here with Andrew Pickrell and Timothy Bray as we're about to go through the final couple corners. And across the line, Tyler Tier goes. The P1 finish, and Ray Aguilar smacks right into the wall for that one. That's a little upsetting, but and that's P2 for him, P3 for Timothy Bray, and P4 for Andrew Pickrell. P5 for Jeff. P6 for Trey Mistack. P7 for Joshua. It looks like P8 and 9 are battling towards the end. That's P9 across that just overtook Colin Luckhurst across the last couple of sectors, and there goes Levi for P8 and Colin Luckhurst with a P9. Cody Wasson with a P10 finish crossing the line. Craig Carroll with a P11 finish crossing the line. Eric Yarrow with a P12. Zachary Hinterhoff got that P17 finish. David Gauntlet with a P13 finish about to cross the line. Nicholas Matcham about to cross the line shortly, and he's P18. Colton Piazza getting closer to the final couple corners here, and he's P14 with Tyler Currents way behind him. That's not going to be a change in the lineup of P14 and P15 for out of those two drivers. And that is it, folks. I believe that was it. P16 was Steve McAllister, a lap down there, and Zachary Hintroff, I mentioned him, Nicholas Matcham, Patrick Schofield in P19, as Austin McGill in P20, and Edison Hokie in P21. Thank you for joining us, folks, and we are going to be back on Sunday. Same time. I think it's 9:10 Eastern for qualifying starts. The stream will go up a little bit before that, so you can take a look. That's going to be the GT3 race. I can't believe where we're at, but just join the Discord. It's definitely going to be a fun one on Sunday, and then we'll be back on Tuesday for the Formula 4 at I think it's Zandvoort. So take a look. Thank you for joining us, and have a good evening.